Yo, check. What's going on, guys? Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I just found a crazy way to start off the new year, just out the gate. I was literally just kind of looking around Twitter, looking for any story that might be potentially out there, and I found this one that was freaking kind of crazy. This is on the Twitter of the guy that's just been all over this case. I believe he works for News Nation. This is definitely from News Nation, but I think he actually works there. But he has been all over this case. Bryan Kohberger, I believe is his name. Even last night I was saying, if I'm saying the name correctly, please correct me. But world-renowned forensic psychologist, professor, and serial killer expert, Dr. Katherine Ramsland, reportedly taught Bryan Kohberger at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. And just listen to this for a second. I'm just going to play this straight out here. Actually, I'm going to wait for 1 second to see if anybody else gathers in here. But yeah, Happy New Year to anybody that's just popping by. I said this earlier in the day, before on the early day stream that I randomly did. But anybody that's just going to be out tonight, be careful. Don't, drink and drive. Yeah, what really blew my mind. Yeah, before I even play that video, actually, hold on. This chick, Katherine Ramsland, teacher of this Bryan dude, wrote a book with the BTK Killer. Like, what? Katherine Ramsland, an American nonfiction author and professor of forensic psychology. Ramsland has written 60 books and more than 1,000 articles, mostly in the genre of crime, forensic science, and supernatural. Whoa, even dabbles in the supernatural. What the hell? She is also a professor of forensic psychology, criminal justice at DeSales University, where we know that's where the weird survey that was on Reddit was out, actually. So was she maybe even behind? Like what? Was that from her class? Was like, I don't know. Let's see what old News Nation is saying here.
Stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death will not fight his extradition back to Idaho, according to his public defender, who also said Kohberger is, quote, eager to be exonerated of these charges. I'm a reporter. No one answered when I went to the house where the 28-year-old was arrested in Monroe County, Pennsylvania. The front window was broken, with duct tape covering the door, after it may have been busted out when the FBI moved in. Sources tell News Nation when Kohberger was in custody, he asked if anyone else was arrested, and that he had a quiet, blank stare. Kohberger was getting his PhD in criminal justice at Washington State University in Pullman, Washington, just a 15-minute drive from Moscow, Idaho, where the murders happened. Before moving to Washington, he grew up and studied in Pennsylvania.
Bryan Kohberger.
Kohberger got his bachelor's
Spill
degree here at DeSales University.
Sorry, I missed that there. Happy New Year to you too.
Master's degree from their criminal justice program. A spokeswoman for the school says they are absolutely distraught by what is happening. Something really interesting. There is a world-renowned forensic psychology professor who works here who reportedly actually taught Kohberger.
Have I come face to face with psychopaths? Absolutely.
Dr. Katherine Ramsland has appeared in more than 200 crime documentaries and written almost 70 books, including The Psychology of Death Investigations, The Mind of a Murderer, and she even worked with the BTK serial killer, Dennis Rader, on his autobiography.
Yeah, right here, BTK Killer. Worked with him on his autobiography. That's crazy. These are some connections that you do not want to have, right? Like,
says they are absolutely distraught by what is happening. Something really interesting. There is a world-renowned forensic psychology professor who works here who reportedly actually taught Kohberger.
Have I come face to face with psychopaths? Absolutely.
Dr. Katherine Ramsland has appeared in more than 200 crime documentaries and written almost 70 books, including The Psychology of Death Investigations, The Mind of a Murderer, and she even worked with the BTK serial killer, Dennis Rader, on his autobiography, according to the university website. Lehigh Valley News says Dr. Ramsland confirmed to them Kohberger was a student of hers. When I reached out to her, she told me, I cannot make media statements about him at this time. News Nation has obtained this photo of Kohberger taken during a group project at DeSales University in 2019. Students who studied with him tell News Nation they've been told to only talk to police because they could potentially be called as character witnesses in the case. They did say he was, quote, controlling during the group project.
Crazy. Yeah, there's still some more of this clip.
And Kohberger had no criminal history, and there are reports that the FBI was following him and keeping track of his every move for at least 4 days, and that ultimately it was DNA that connected him to the murders. Natasha.
All right, Brian Enton live for us in Pennsylvania. Thank you so much. And let's get to Moscow, Idaho, where Nancy Liu just spoke with the police chief a few hours ago. Nancy, police are telling you they believe Kohberger acted alone.
Whoa.
Yeah, Natasha, the
Hell,
Moscow
they can still be,
police
you know,
chief
holding
tells
cards
me
close
that
to the
they
chest
have
now.
their prime suspect,
Yeah, spilled
along
beans.
with
He
the
is super
white
scary
Elantra
looking.
that they had been
He really
seeking
is.
for weeks.
It's those eyes.
And
That's
as
all I
this
keep seeing. That's all I keep
investigation enters
saying.
a new phase, this now infamous home will remain under guard, surrounded by yellow tape. As a
yeah,
crime
because the
scene.
last thing I heard, I'm going to pause this just for a moment. The last thing I heard that they were doing the cleaning crew the day of the arrest, which even we saw the footage on the news that they were doing the cleaning crew. And then it was going to be turned over to the property owner, but then they, through I guess a court order, maybe that was even one of the streams I was watching, or maybe it was even one of something I was looking at last night, I'm not sure. But yeah, they actually put a halt to that, and they were going to, I mean, they might be doing a little bit more digging. And then there was the rumor that possibly when Kohberger was arrested that he said, did you get anybody else? You know, don't quote me on that. I don't think that was his exact verbatim words, but, you know, essentially, was there others? So, I mean, the question's still out there, but as this reporter just said, they're right now saying that they think he acted alone, but that's probably just putting, you know, someone at ease, right? I mean, I could see that. Oh yeah,
an hour into us releasing the name, we had over 400 people calling in.
The investigation is hardly over. A day after announcing an arrest in the Moscow murders, Chief James Fry says a new focus is building a case against Bryan Kohberger.
If you've known him, if you've dealt with him at any point in time, this is now where we become more laser focused on one thing, and we're going to find out as much information as we can, but we still need our community
good questions,
and people's help.
I'm wondering the
Soon
same
after
thing.
Kohberger's arrest, an all-day search of his apartment on the Washington State campus in Pullman.
I wonder how they
According
felt,
to a Wazoo classmate, Kohberger
honestly,
had a different demeanor in recent weeks.
or how they feel,
a
rather,
graduate
like,
student who lives in Kohberger's campus
I mean,
complex
we've discussed
is
a little bit
stunned that
last
the neighbor
night.
who chatted with him.
Pause this. We discussed a little bit last night on the live stream that you know, could the mother have known, like, or even the father? I mean, don't mean to always just mention the mother, but yeah, could there have been any kind of feelings? Because I mean, yeah, we went through 2 holidays now. You know, we've heard nothing really about Thanksgiving. If they probably didn't know by then, right? I forget exactly when the Elantra news broke. I feel like when they knew that, even though they taught DNA, and God, just imagine how many Elantras that they scoured through probably to actually get to the end of this. But yeah, back to the parents. I just I don't know. I wonder how they feel now. But also, I would just, you know, they have to feel terrible. Like, it has to be just a terrible situation. I don't know, but you have to be thinking, yeah, they knew I repeated this in a stream earlier. They knew that their son drove this car that the, you know, everyone was looking for. Excuse me. They knew that he lived 10 minutes, you know, 10 miles, whichever it was. Excuse me. Don't quote me on that. From the actual campus, from the home, from Greeks Row. So I mean, in the back of their mind, could they have been thinking, you know, is it, you know, because I mean, everything's still coming out that, you know, everyone's talking about how he became more aggressive at a certain point in time. So the mother would have seen that also. The parents would have seen that also. Spilled beans. I bet they were devastated unless they know his dad rode all that time with him. Yeah, that's true. Was he on that trip with him? Did they come back together? Was he on the trip from Washington home when the FBI was tracking him?
About criminology may be a brutal killer.
I think it's a little bit creepy right now, obviously, because we have someone who, you know, studied criminology background and with psychology, and he actually doing some, I don't know, it's suspect right now, right? But I can't say that if he actually did a crime, is pretty scary and spooky. Yeah.
Last night, News Nation captured crews removing multiple boxes, suitcases, and bags from Kohberger's apartment. Also taken into evidence a large computer tower. The chief has yet to hear what was recovered, but says, like the rest of the investigation, the public may not learn about it anytime soon.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a while.
At the murder scene, crews set up to begin remediation and cleanup yesterday,
I think so.
putting
I heard
up
his
black
dad
sheeting to block the removal of items from the
and
home.
rode back with him.
But
Okay.
a local court halted the process to keep the scene preserved indefinitely. Why would the court want that process stopped?
Was he looking for any kind of signs? Not looking for, but did he see any kind of signs?
Many reasons. Could be for the defense counsel. Could be that they just want to hold it for a little bit.
Chief Fry says he has spoken to the victims' families, but knows there is little comfort at this point as they continue to withhold many details about Kohberger and his potential links to the victims.
It is so important to hold that information and keep it
just
right
imagine
where
how many
it
people
was,
that
so
haven't had any kind of connection
when we
with
made an arrest,
Kohberger
now as we
calling,
continue further, there will be more
Idaho
information
right now,
that we're going to hold till the end,
line.
because we want to get a conviction.
It's hotline.
And Moscow police say they believe Kohberger is the one who committed the murders, though they continue to investigate all aspects of this case. Far more details are expected with the unsealing of an affidavit when and if Kohberger is extradited back here to Idaho.
Yeah, I can't wait till he gets extradited back to Idaho so we can actually get some kind of information on, some kind of, there was nothing that they could actually give us during the press conference, and now there's just kind of like speculation
Bryan Kohberger.
Yeah, this guy is on top of it though, right? Let's see, some of Bryan Kohberger's college classmates say they have been told to only talk to police about their interactions with him because they could potentially be called as character witnesses in the case. Interesting. The public defender in Monroe County, PA, says Kohberger is eager to exonerate these charges. Yeah, we went earlier in the day stream. We went deep into his public defender that he currently has, but also, he's definitely going to be back in Idaho. So this guy probably is going to continue to be representing him very long. And then when he gets to Idaho, I'll be interested to see if he actually, gets a well-known lawyer or an expensive lawyer and sees what happens. Excuse me. Again, Happy New Year. Let's see what they're saying here.
That the windows in the Pennsylvania home where he was arrested this morning are broken. Like the SWAT team that showed up broke all the windows out and there's duct tape over them now?
It appears, I walked up to the house, Ashley, and it's a very rural community. Each house, I would say, is on about 2 acres. Very, very dark inside. I walked up to the house. There were some lights on inside. Some people yelled from the inside, "Get out of here. This is private property." But I noticed on the front door, doors have a window in the middle, that the window had all been smashed out and that there was duct tape covering the window. And then also near the doorknob, there was duct tape. I've also confirmed, Ashley, through a source, that where the suspect is being held at the jail not far from here in Monroe County, I've confirmed that when he was speaking once in custody, he said something along the lines of, "Has anyone else been arrested?"
Right there.
And also I am told he was described as just sort of stone cold throughout and emotionless throughout the entire process.
It's like a fake smile, right? And he could be toying with everybody even here in the end, right? He's like, I got one more up my sleeve. Was there anybody? Did you catch anybody else? Who knows? Can't wait to find out, though. Let's look at the comments here on this video. Is again on Twitter here. Is Chelsea Consalves, the therapist who knows, who works with Bryan Kohberger's therapist sister Amanda, related to Kaylee. Whoa, just a bizarre coincidence with names, maybe. Spilled beans. Wonder if he acted differently or if he acted normal. Yeah, I want to see more people come out. Right now, everybody that's come out has basically kind of said the same thing. He used to be normal until after a summer, You know, who knows what they're going to maybe dig up with whatever he was maybe looking up. And hell, he's 28 now. So that was, and they're talking about high school years. So what? Yeah, we're a decade into his adult life. So yeah, what I know now is kind of old news. And right now he's a criminal science student in Washington State University, and one of his teachers, not currently because he's at this school, but when earlier this year though at DeSales University, he had a teacher that is close to the BTK killer. That's an absolute fact. And she taught him, who is now been arrested in Idaho for murder. It's just kind of wild. It's weird. See, I really wonder who it was that tipped the cops off about the car. Yeah, I think it was the gas station, though, right? I wonder if the gas station gave that footage up, or if they were already just scouring everywhere. They had to have been just scouring, getting any kind of footage from any establishment, business, home, ring footages, anything that would have been in any location. After this picked up the way it did, they were on top of it. So the SWAT raided the house to make the arrest because the people inside wouldn't open the door. This person's asking a question. Yeah, if they broke the windows out, hell, they might have just broke the windows out. Has anyone else been arrested? So does that mean there's a second suspect? I'm not really sure what they're getting from that. No, I believe there has to be. I mean, has to be, right? Like, I don't know. It's just so crazy. Well, just to read. How could the parents not know? Why to launch her? Their son obviously had mental issues. Maybe the parents did call the FBI on him. I sure hope so. Relieve the families will see justice. Hell, we don't know that. We've only been I have only been, alluding to maybe possibly the other way around. I have been just kind of feeling sorry for them and them not knowing. But hell, maybe they made the call. Maybe they were one of the calls. Maybe they were one of the tips. Father or mother. Just because, and he has a sister as well. So, yeah, maybe they saw the red flags and made the call, possibly or potentially. Again, goes back to what Spilled Beans just said. I wonder if he acted differently or acted normal. Yeah, it's just, I can't wait to get a little bit more information. I guess we just keep going back to that. Everything is just speculation right now. Have to keep saying that, allegedly. And he is a suspect. But once they get him back to Idaho, I think we're going to find out a little bit more information. Let's see what else is on this guy's page here. Yeah, if you guys are just hanging out in here, if you do go to Twitter for anything, follow Publicly Buzzed. They got a page on there that I try to keep moving. I definitely post on YouTube more often than anything else, but yeah, I do have a Twitter account. Let's see what else we got on here. Yeah, a video is creepy though. I know that it's just his parents there and it's dark and that adds to the lore, but I guess it's just knowing that that's where this dude went for safety, during the holiday. He got to spend time with his family, and of course we know the other way around because of him. I don't know, man. It's messed up. Bryan Kohberger's office at Washington State University was searched by the law enforcement. The university says Kohberger has completed his first semester as a PhD student in the criminal justice program. Well on his way to covering his tracks, right? No one is talking at the house where Bryan was arrested. Honestly, can't blame him. Video from Bryan Kohberger's apartment complex in Pullman. I think, we were looking at this earlier. The cleaning crew was preparing to take the items out of the Moscow house. When was this? This was at 2 p.m. Yesterday. Now it's midnight, 12:30. Again, Happy New Year, everybody. That's just kind of randomly hanging out here. Crazy. Let's See, and then I saw this also. So they have talked to an old friend here. Here we go. From the Daily Mail, Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger has been fitted with anti-suicide vest. I think that was the vest that maybe he was wearing in the mugshot. Vest inmates call a turtle suit, as ex-friend who went for 7-mile night runs with killer tells his terror at news of the arrest. Is there a video here? So this is the friend. Okay, here's that vest. Whoa, suicide prevention vest.
More than 2,500 miles separate Moscow, Idaho from Monroe County, Pennsylvania. But tonight, a gated community in Chestnut Hill Township is facing questions about an alleged killer living in their midst. NBC 10's Johnny Archer continues our team coverage.
This is a neighborhood in the Poconos in Monroe County where police arrested the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students in November. And tonight we are finding out more about who that suspect is.
I live right around the block from where the suspect lived.
Your reaction to all this?
Insane. I couldn't believe it.
People in this quiet Pocono neighborhood are shocked to hear the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students was arrested here at this home in Chestnut Township Friday in Monroe County.
It's a nice home.
Police in Idaho identifying the suspect as 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger.
She didn't happen to know this person at all?
No, I didn't. I mean, he was in here like 2 weeks ago, but that's it. I don't remember anything about the man. He never made no
2 weeks ago.
Nothing.
Kohberger is
so he just got arrested. He just drove back 4 days ago for Christmas from Washington. What was he doing there 2 weeks ago? You know, was he hanging out with his parents then? Do you have to go back to, I mean, yeah, because he's still in school in Washington. He has an apartment in Washington. I don't know. That was weird.
PhD student at Washington State University studying criminal justice, about 10 minutes away from the University of Idaho. Back in Pennsylvania, Kohberger graduated from Northampton Community College in 2018 and received his bachelor's and master's degree from DeSales University near
McNamara,
Allentown.
welcome.
School officials
a young
said
woman
NBC,
in Pennsylvania called the police in Moscow to report on a launcher with Idaho tags. Oh, cool. Yeah, answering the question earlier. Thanks for joining the chat also. Happy New Year, Linda.
During this difficult time.
When I saw his name pop up.
Here we go. Here's the friend. This is what I want to see. Hold on. Is that the beginning of this? Because yeah, he went on 7-mile runs
from
nightly with this
Community
dude.
College in 2018 and received his bachelor's and master's degree from
This is where he was taught by. This is what the thumbnail was saying. This is where the DeSales University. This is where, you know, they're potentially cranking out. I mean, I'm not even going to say it, right? Just allegedly. What the hell's coming out of this place?
University near Allentown. School officials sent NBC.
Got a teacher on lock, right? DeSales University has a Catholics. Saying, I'm probably butchering that as well. Community, we are devastated by this senseless tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims' families during this difficult time.
This statement in part saying, as a Catholic Salesian community, we are devastated by the senseless tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victim's family during this difficult time.
When I saw his name pop up this morning, I was in complete disbelief. My adrenaline was rushing. I couldn't like fathom that.
This gentleman says he knew the suspect about 10 years ago. He says he and Kohberger used to run together.
When we were running, always kind of like positive conversations on the runs, like kind of uplifting, hey, I want to get in shape, like just kind of motivated. Nothing that would be like, that was concerning, nothing that's sticking out.
It's very quiet. Everybody keeps to themselves up on the mountain. And for it to happen all the way across the United States to here, that's big. That's home.
The suspect is currently being held in the Monroe County Jail on no bond. He has a scheduled court appearance this Tuesday in Pennsylvania. Officials in Idaho say he will be extradited back there, but they say that might take some time.
Man, how much time though? Get this bastard back to Idaho. Let's go. Yeah, Bryan Kohberger is being forced to wear an anti-suicide vest, also known as a turtle suit, in jail while he awaits extradition to Moscow, Idaho, where he will be charged with the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. Kohberger was arrested on Friday in Pennsylvania, more than 2,000 miles from where the November 13th deaths of Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, Zana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin took place in the off-campus home they shared. Look at this, 21, 21, 20, 20. And he's young too. I mean, 28's not old. Welcome to chat. LG Map, Stuart James, LG Map. They took a risk going to get him in his house. He could have committed suicide, but by the time they reached him, I believe is what that was going to say. Overall, the police did a fantastic job. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in this kind of situation, you definitely have to worry about something like this because, yeah, his life's done, right? I mean, unless he wants to stick around for a little bit of this fame, he might even get messed up in prison. He does not look like he's. I mean, I know they were talking about how he's a boxer and stuff, but come on, I mean, yeah, I don't really know. Good point, LJ Maps for sure. LJ Map for sure. But yeah, police did a good job, it seems like. And going in, 3 a.m. in the morning, that's the time to do it, right? They always come in, you're least expected. He probably was asleep. Unless he was freaking out, I mean, Stuart James, I guarantee this was not his first rodeo. Yeah, I've seen many people say that. Yeah, I mean, 4 people, right? Spilled Beans. I wonder how long he was planning this. Yeah, me too. I wonder. Spilled Beans, I agree with Stuart James. Yeah, man. How long was he planning this? You had to have planned this for a while. Again, that goes back to what I've been saying on all these streams. Exactly how is he connected to this? To these girls, right? I know the bar scene is super close, and he was only 10 miles away, even though it's a different school. Again, I keep repeating myself on these streams, but it just is what it is. That's the information we have right now. But yeah, that's the whole reason I am repeating myself. What is the connection with him and these young adults? Now, the PhD has agreed to be extradited to Idaho from Pennsylvania. His attorney said he is shocked by the arrest and plans on denying the murders. Yeah, so this will go to court or trial. Kohberger was originally on suicide watch, but is now believed to be off as he prepares his defense. A former friend of the suspect in the chest, he's like, I'm not going to be able to commit suicide. So, God, just imagine how he's acting, though. A former friend of the suspect in the Cheston Hill Township, close to the, and I just said it, Poconos. I'm butchering that word again. The mountains over there, has told the media how terrified he was when news of Kohberger's arrest emerged. Skylar Jacobson said in an interview that he was in complete shock, and this is the guy that went on jogs with Kohberger, when he realized how close he had been to the man suspected of such a gruesome act. Yeah, this is Jacobson here. God, could you imagine, though? Jacobson told WBRE, I looked at the picture and I couldn't believe who it was. It was Bryan Kohberger. I would text him and I'd be like, hey, you want to go for a run? We'd go for a 6 or 7 mile run at night. So when I saw who it was, I was just in complete shock. It was so close to home. At the time of the murders, Kohberger, who was staying at his parents' house in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, when he was arrested, was studying at the University of Washington, just a 20-minute drive from where the murders took place. Stuart James, if you look at the back of the victim's house, there is a parking lot facing in the back of their house, a perfect perch to study. Interesting. Yeah, I have looked at that property before. One second here. Does anybody know hold on, let me actually fix this. Does anybody know the address right off? I'll look that up on Google Maps real quick as I continue to read through this. Just trying to look it up on my side screen here. It's messing me up with the OBS. Jacobson continued, I'm still kind of like shaking knowing about this. It's just unreal to think somebody could actually do that to somebody. It's actually mind-boggling. My adrenaline is still kind of running after finding that information. Yeah, I couldn't imagine, man. That'd be so crazy. In a separate interview with NBC Philadelphia, Jacobson said that the pair were close around 10 years ago. Oh, see, again, okay. And as I was reading it, I was kind of putting it in perspective of today. So this was 10 years ago. Was this the high school years again? There seems to be a huge gap here. I have no information besides that we know that he goes to, the DeSales stuff and the current stuff at Washington State. 10 years ago they'd go on runs. They all had positive conversations. Jacobson described the murder suspect as being uplifting and often talked about wanting to get in shape. He said that there was nothing concerning about Kohberger's behavior. So was this before he got aggressive? That's all I've really seen. So is this even before that? Another resident of Monroe County, Dennis Munger, told WBRE, "It's pretty amazing. This is right in your backyard, and you don't know anything about it. To track somebody all the way across the country like that, it's crazy." And here's the suicide vest that he was wrapped up in, I guess, before he decided to plead not guilty. He's going to get his defense ready. Probably hire again, how's his mom and dad feeling? And again, it goes back to so many different questions. Do they think he's innocent? Are they going to stand by him? So many questions that need answered. A suicide vest or smock is a tear-resistant single-piece outer garment that prevents inmates from using their clothing to make a noose in order to commit suicide. Prior to their invention and use in the 1990s, inmates who were considered a suicide risk were often left in their cells naked or with paper gowns. Okay, we're coming up a little bit here. It was a Law and Crime Network host, and Jeanette Levy, not familiar with her. Sorry if I butchered that. I'm good at butchering names. Get used to that. Who first brought attention to the vest when she posted Kohberger's mugshot, adding, "Notice the vest he is wearing." And I didn't notice that. I did notice it, but I didn't know that that's what that was. So I'm learning something right now. When asked by a follower about the suit, Levy replied, "You can't cut it to hang yourself. It's like a suit." According to the manufacturer, PSP's website, the vest is designed with a high-quality fabric and craftsmanship. The suicide prevention smock offers comfort, coverage, and warmth without compromising safety, security, and overall effectiveness. The vests retail for $425. Okay, how many of these do they have? How many of these do they need is the question. Also known as turtle suits. I saw that name. They are sometimes given to inmates who are believed to be targets for violence from fellow prisoners. I can't imagine he's with the other prisoners right now, right? They're probably keeping this guy by himself at the moment, I would imagine. In addition to preventing suicides, it is also impossible to turn the vest into a weapon that could be used against guards or other inmates. Impossible? Nick McLaughlin, who was friends with Kohberger at school, told the Daily Beast he was stunned to see his old acquaintance arrested. McLaughlin said Kohberger was down to earth when he graduated junior year, but at the start of senior year, so that's when the switch came. From junior year into senior year is when he became aggressive and got thinner than a rail. Is this when the heroin use / possible allegedly meth use came into play? Why he became so skinny and also took up boxing? We got a heroin using boxer who's now aggressive. Such a weird combination, right? Rick Starr, hey, what's going on? Thanks for coming back. Good to see you in chat. Stuart James, I think I missed something here. If the FBI or local cops go through all of his devices, they should check to see if he belonged to any incel groups. Yeah, I saw somebody else. Maybe it was in one of the comments earlier. Mentioned some incel stuff. Maybe it was in the stream last night. Let's see. Recalling how their friendship soured, McLaughlin added how he always wanted to fight somebody. He was bullying people. He started cutting him off from the Fit Friend group. Yeah, I think I've read this. Happy New Year, Rick Starr. Yeah, almost forgot. I did say that earlier, but yeah, Happy New Year. Hope that you're safe and not out on the roads, honestly. And if you are, get a DD. But yes, Happy New Year. 2023. 2022 just flew by. Going into 2023, though, we have our man as of right now, though. McLaughlin said he had no idea what prompted the sudden change. Let's see. Moscow Chief James Fry said Saturday that he believes we have the individual that committed these crimes. Again, they're just alluding to only one person. I said this earlier in the stream that anybody that's just hanging out now, we've got a few more people in here. I earlier was saying I'm still not convinced that it's only one person. Like, I can't be. It's so hard to think that only one person could do what happened. I mean, again, I know that the girls were drunk. I'm not completely sure about Ethan and Xana, but that's so much. And obviously his DNA was at the crime scene, whether that was on maybe one of the, Ethan or one of the girls' fingernails, maybe some of his blood got mixed in somehow. But something happened. And did he initially even maybe plan to kill all 6 people in the house? Interesting to think about. He also confirmed that the white Elantra police were looking for earlier weeks in the investigation was located in the home of the suspect's parents. However, authorities are still searching for the murder weapon. The Moscow Police Department continues to encourage anyone to come forward with information as they're still putting pieces together. The police chief could not reveal much, and they can't really say nothing until they get him back in Idaho. Law prohibits officers from releasing information until the criminology student has made his first court appearance in Idaho. However, he did say it was disappointing to learn that the alleged murderer was studying criminology, as this is not something we want in our profession. That just adds another layer of eerie to it, I think. That he was, a crime student, Like, what line of police work or crime was he going to go into? And already had completed 1 semester. We hold ourselves at a higher standard. We hold ourselves to an ethical standard, he told Fox News, but we can't pick and choose what people study. Kohberger's lawyer said Saturday that his client looks forward to resolving these matters. Mr. Kohberger is eager to be exonerated. That was corrected earlier on that, actually, in comments by somebody. I was confused earlier what that meant, but yeah, he's actually ready to prove his innocence. He is not fighting to come back to Idaho. As I'm understanding it currently, he is ready to show why he is innocent. And we shall see, I guess. Yeah, I really did. I thought that was pretty wild, though. Yeah, right here. Katherine Ramsland wrote this book right here, Confession of a Serial Killer. Or maybe she didn't fully write it. I think she helped the BTK Killer write it, which is even crazier, right? I have not read this, and I have seen a lot of serial killer stuff and read some books on serial killers, but I have not read this particular book on the BTK Killer. So in 1974, Dennis Lynn Rader stalked and murdered a family of 4 in Wichita, Kansas. Since adolescence, he had read about serial killers and imagined becoming one. Soon after killing the family, he murdered a young woman and then another until he had 10 victims. He named himself BTK, Bind, Torture, Kill, and wrote notes that terrorized the city. He remained on the loose for 30 years. No one who knew him guessed his dark secret. He nearly got away with his crimes, but in 2004, he began to play risky games with the police. He made a mistake. When he was arrested, Rader's family, friends, and coworkers were shocked again. Always, right? The family has to be shocked. That's all I keep seeing. If these friends that are being interviewed now, even if they're from 10 years ago, who are coming out that remembers this guy, earlier in the stream earlier, we looked at some stuff that was from a TikTok of this girl that remembers him, that he had actually gotten her to go get him heroin. That just has to be so trippy now. I find it crazy though that there's a connection like this. Shocked to discover that the BTK had been among them, going to work, raising his children, and acting normal. This case stands out both for the brutal treatment of victims and for the ordinary public face that Rader assures cancel president. These guys can get into regular life, right? Into regular professions and live regular lives, and trick people. It's crazy. And it happens all the time. It's happening right now. That's the eerie part about it. That's what makes it so creepy. Through jailhouse visits, telephone calls, and written correspondence, here we go. Katherine Ramsland worked with Rader himself to analyze the layers of his psyche, using his drawings, letters, interviews, and Rader's unique codes. Yeah, wasn't he the one that sent the codes to the police and how they caught him? Mucho Taco, welcome to the chat. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining the chat. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Happy New Year. Hope you have a good one. 2023. She presents it in meticulous detail, the childhood roots and development of one man's motive to stalk, torture, and kill. She reveals aspect of the dark motivations of the most famous and living serial killers that have never been revealed. In this book, Katherine Ramsland presents an intellect, original, and rare glimpse into the making of a serial killer and the potential darkness that lives next door. The review, Confession of a Serial Killer, stands out as the first book that takes the form of a collaboration. Here we go. Yeah, he's collabing with a serial killer, this lady. She also just taught a man that killed 4 people in Moscow, Idaho, who just left the school that was there earlier this year in Pennsylvania, DeSales University. Unlike many crime books, it does not merely speculate about the predator's deranged thoughts and schemes, but rather plunges the reader into them, revealing in remarkable detail how a well-known serial killer at the end of his life sees himself. In Confession of a Serial Killer, Dr. Katherine Ramsland got Dennis Rader to reveal the dark fantasies that led him to murder. Ramsland says her purpose in the writing of the book, here we go, a little bit more insight, was to give criminologists, forensic psychologists, and some first-hand insights into the serial killer's mind, by relating the stories he tells and how he tells them. Stacy Carroll, welcome to chat. Thanks for jumping in here. I'm stuck on more than him, but we will find out soon enough. Yeah, I'm definitely not accusing her of anything whatsoever. It is interesting though, that she worked with a serial killer and now also taught this guy that they've arrested. He's just a suspect again. Everything's allegedly. I'm definitely not accusing Dr. Ramsland whatsoever of anything nefarious. Ramsland guides Mucho Taco. Next week, Taco Tuesday, will be hamburger to celebrate Kohberger's arrest. Hell yeah, there we go. That's the kind of New Year party I'm looking for right now in chat, bro. Let's go. Get some tacos out. Get this guy back to Idaho. Based on her extensive years-long communication with Dennis Rader, Katherine Ramsland's Confession of a Serial Killer not only presents a definitive portrait of one of our country's most infamous modern criminals, but provides a unique, illuminating look into the works of a psychopathic mind by combining Rader's autobiography writings with her own expert commentary. Ramsland guides us through that terrifying labyrinth. God, this is written really well. I'm ready to read this book. Shedding brilliant light on every shadowy corner along the way from the serial killer files. Katherine Ramsland has crafted a one-of-a-kind book allowing the reader to journey directly into the mind of BTK, a serial killer who eluded authorities for nearly 30 years. I could ramble on about what she has accomplished through her dialogue with Rader and her review of tons of prime source material, but I won't. Just know this: it's a hell of a book. Buy it, read it. It may come up at night, but you won't regret it. Oh, there she is. Katherine Ramsland began her career as a writer with Prism of the Night and a biography of Anne Rice. She had a bestseller with The Vampire Companion. Since then, she has published 69 books and over 2,500 articles, reviews, and short stories. She has also been an executive producer of Murder House Flip and BTK Confession of a Serial Killer. From ghosts to vampires to serial killers, she kind of dabbles, I've forgotten that already, into the supernatural a little bit, right? In the chat, Joshua W. Loveday, future MD, can't wait till Tuesday. Yeah, let's go. I can't either, man. That's when we're going to get a little bit of news, hopefully, right? Hopefully that's when we get a little bit more information if he can get back into Idaho. And hell, if he's trying to say that he's good and he wants to represent himself now, let's see what's up. Let's see what you got. If they've got DNA and if they've made this arrest this public, there ain't no way they're not 100% confident. Jake Gyllenhaal would be a great actor to play the killer in the movie. Okay, yeah, I mean, if you're going to throw it out there. Let's see. Currently, she teaches forensic psychology and criminal justice at DeSales University. How long do you think before they take this down right here? This is probably going to get a lot of traction, I'd imagine. Her books, just the story, not this. I'm not saying my video, but just the story. I thought it was crazy, anyways. Her books include "I Scream Man," "How to Catch a Killer," "Confession of a Serial Killer," "The Forensic Psychology of a Criminal Mind," "The Mind of a Murderer," and "The Human Predator." Oh, how convenient, right? A historical chronicle of serial murderer and forensic investigation. She speaks internationally about forensic psychology, forensic science, and serial murder, and has appeared on numerous documentaries as well as the Today Show 2020, 48 Hours, Dr. Oz, Coast to Coast. I do like Coast to Coast from back in the day. Larry King Live and True Hollywood Story. Currently, she works on fiction series, The Nutcracker Investigations, which features a female forensic psychologist who manages a FI agency. Excuse me if I'm saying that wrong. Can you dig deeper in here? Let's look at some of her books. The Human Predator. So yeah, she likes to write about serial killers. How to Catch a Killer. I Scream Man. A Nutcracker Investigation. Maybe, or some of these fiction also. Yeah, okay. The Science of Vampires. You know, I'm not hating on any of the supernatural stuff that she's doing, but that is a weird mix. Just outright. Let's see some reviews here. Some top customer reviews from the United States. California Dreaming. I'm just going to say this real fast, and I know this is Amazon, and I know this is also a book, but one of my favorite things, and this probably goes back kind of far with reviews on Amazon, but with movies on IMDb, absolutely love going back and seeing, you can see like almost like, God, I've seen some from like 99, like reviews from 99 and stuff, and we're so far past that. I love old reviews though, even right here, 2016. I guess this is just a review overall on this book, Confession of a Serial Killer. Yeah, the BTK. I will admit I can be somewhat of a slow reader. It's not that not that I can't read fast. It's just that I like to savor every word. Okay, let's get weird here. Just like, this one serial killer who likes to savor the minutes while binding, torturing, and killing his victims. What the hell have we dove into? It's just that I have the luxury to take my time, usually while for him a whole bunch of annoying little distractions keep getting in his way. A dog starts barking, a police car drives by on the street and stops, or a boyfriend is due home anytime. Hey, it's the little things in life that can take away from our enjoyment, I suppose. What am I reading? Of course, the first paragraph is written somewhat tongue-in-cheek, and it's intended to moralize a bit of the antics of one Dennis Rader, aka BTK. But the best thing about Confessions of the Serial Killer, the untold story of Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, from Dr. Katherine Ramsland, she closes the door on that little thing we like to call morality herself, leaving him outside for only the reader to invite in, if that reader so chooses. Weird wording there on this review. Even if that reader is a little slow like me. But I also read slowly for another reason. I consider myself to be a very active reader. I buy almost all books in the Kindle format while reading. If I stumble upon some person, place, or thing, those used to be called nouns. Then I jump out of the Kindle app, open up Safari. All right, I'm jumping out of this one. Holy crap, it's a book also. Woo, one more. No books here. Oh, God, they're all books. Who are buying these books? Or buying this lady's books? Okay, one more. Interesting. Here's a short one. 22, a couple months ago. This was a fascinating and different way to record and talk about serial murder. It wasn't focused on the gory aspects of horror. Instead, it was a glimpse behind the curtain. I hope this view allows others to learn more about those who commit atrocities and how to limit their ravages. Well researched. I mean, yeah, there's nothing. I'm not blaming this lady for anything. It is a super interesting connection, though. Again, no two ways around that. I'll stand behind that. 69 years old. Yeah, already people are kind of talking about it. Let's see, law and crime. Can you read this for free? Is it behind a paywall? It looks all right. The 28-year-old charged with murdering 4 University of Idaho students earned a master's degree at DeSales University and took classes taught by a renowned expert in serial killers. Bryan Kohberger faces 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary for the November 13th murders of Kaylee, Maddie, Zaina, and Ethan. Kohberger was taken to custody on Friday, December 30th, just before 2 a.m. at his parents' house. Yeah, just kind of the same thing here. Let's see.
Should we call you Catherine? What do you like to go by?
Catherine's fine. You can call me Catherine.
Dr. Katherine Ramsland, an expert in serial killers who teaches at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. We're learning one of her students was Bryan Kohberger, the man now charged with murdering 4 University of Idaho students. I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome to this special edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger is being held without bail at the Monroe County Jail in Pennsylvania on those murder charges. He was arrested at his parents' home on Friday morning just before 2 a.m. Moscow police say they seized a 2015 white Elantra but have offered few other details. Kohberger faces 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary and will have to be extradited to Idaho to face charges for the murders of Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. Police executed a search warrant at Kohberger's apartment.
Yeah, here's his apartment. I wonder which one of these is his apartment.
In Washington Friday. Kohberger was a PhD student at Washington State University, studying criminal justice and criminology. Washington State University is about 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho.
If Catherine is good, she has picked up some of Bryan's behavior. Yeah, right? That's a damn good... Dude, Slade, that's a great comment, actually. I would like an interview with her, right? Yeah, come on, let's get that going.
Where those murders were committed on November 13th. A spokesperson for the university said Kohberger had just completed his first semester in the program. Before WSU, Kohberger was a master's student at DeSales University in Pennsylvania.
What we were just looking at.
And one of his professors was Dr. Katherine Ramsland.
What?
She teaches classes in serial killers. She's a forensic psychologist, and she has actually appeared on some of Law and Crime's podcasts, including Sidebar and Coptails and Cocktails. This is what she told Sean Stix-Larkin about her work earlier.
Welcome. Happy New Year, Slade.
I actually consult on death investigations.
Thank you for joining.
I do police trainings. I talk about profiling and psychological autopsy, which is really about suicidology. So I have a whole class just in that. And I have a class in dangerous minds that I teach at the undergraduate and graduate level, and that is really about extreme offenders, which is mass murderers, spree killers, and serial killers. So that's primarily what I do most of my work on, and most of what the students want from me. That class fills up very quickly.
I actually spoke with a student who was in that serial killer class with Bryan Kohberger, and he told me that Kohberger often interrupted Dr. Ramsland, talking over her as if he knew more about the subject matter than she did. Now, in that interview with Sean Stix-Larkin, Dr. Ramsland talked a little bit more about how she became interested in studying serial killers.
It chose me more than I chose it, but I love it. I think it's really interesting, and I'm constantly finding new ideas, new motivations. We have formulas related to serial killers, but for example, I spent 5 years talking with Dennis Rader, the BTK serial killer, because he defies many of the formulas. So I thought that was interesting. I wanted to know more about that. And I think I'm always looking for the outliers rather than the ones that fit the mold. I want to see the ones that don't fit the mold, and how did they get to be the way they are.
It's literally Kohberger, right?
And in psychology, as opposed to criminology, we're looking more at the cases, the individual details of someone's life story and the trajectory, basically. Whereas in criminology, you're looking more at groups and trends and statistics and things like that.
It kind of goes back to like, is this the first? Was this the first?
So that's why I like talking to people.
It couldn't have been like being this ballsy the first time, right?
Explore how they got to be the way they are.
BCK studied BTK.
Many hours doing that.
Probably did,
so
right?
Mr.
Sentinel, welcome to chat.
I'm in this field.
Thanks for joining.
Ramsland also spoke with Cocktails and Cocktails about talking with serial killers face to face and through letters.
I assume in your career you've come face to face with a lot of these gentlemen, correct?
Slade, I heard she can't say anything about Bryan because he was / is a student of hers. Yeah, there probably is some kind of confidentiality thing going on, right? She must have noticed his dominance when he always interrupted her, I think. Yeah, she would have definitely noticed little things like that. Yeah, I'd still like to hear what she has to say. I guess we might have to wait for that, too. It's still just so early. We're literally in the first days, hours of it. But, yeah, you're absolutely right, Slade.
Yeah, not I'm like, you can't just go into prisons and come face-to-face with them. But, yeah, I've talked to them on the phone, through correspondence, sometimes in prison.
Have you ever gotten that just like, this is just pure evil? This guy is just, there's nothing
I have
human
a hard
about
time
it.
with the word evil, frankly.
Okay, gotcha, all right.
Because it's kind of a religious context.
Okay.
Do I think, have I come face to face with psychopaths? Absolutely. The coldness, the lack of remorse.
I'll see what she's saying.
So some
that's
people,
kind of like
call that evil, but we are finding
that's a weird, that's kind of like how, I'm going to pause this just for a second. That's kind of like the type of person you are, whether you're going to, you could absolutely say evil, but that takes on so many other questions, I think, right? And where she's putting into more scientific terms of, have I met psychopaths? And she said, absolutely. I do see what she's saying there. But me personally, I would say he's an evil bastard.
Neuroscience is giving us a lot of information about the brains of psychopaths, and they are.
Mr. Sentinel, what's up, bruh? It's going to be interesting to examine the Idaho judicial branch now. Yeah, it is. It's going to be cool to see. I've been saying this the whole time. Sorry for anybody that's been hanging out that has heard me say this, but I really hope that for the trial that cameras are allowed in there and we can see this thing all the way through.
Things differently.
That would be amazing.
They have very shallow emotional connections.
But
is it something
just like to your point, to the red tape that they're going to have to cut through, and now he wants to actually probably defend himself. I'm not saying defend himself as a lawyer, but say that he did not do it, exonerate himself, but he doesn't look like he's going to fight to come back to Idaho, which I thought he was going to do initially. I thought he was going to put up a fuss and but no, he's going to come back, and he's actually saying, I guess then what we read earlier, he was in the suicide vest right out the gate, afraid he was going to commit suicide, but now he's kind of coming to his senses, probably after talking to the lawyer there, and I think he'll probably hire a good lawyer in Idaho if he's got the money, if his parents are behind him possibly. I don't know how that's working out, but I don't know, it's just interesting to kind of think about from that perspective.
If so, that's a different story.
as you can imagine, we want to talk to Dr. Ramsland about her experience teaching Bryan Kohberger. We reached out to her, and she said that she is not making any statements at this time.
That's probably smart, though.
That's it for
not
this
to be
edition
making any
of Law
statements
and Crime
right now.
Sidebar Podcast. It is produced by Sam Goldberg.
Yeah, that's interesting. Law and Crime's good, though. They have a good YouTube channel also. I like them. I don't know if they have any new information in here or not. Eager to be exonerated. And his current public defender, we looked at him last night, Jason Labar. Maybe it was earlier, actually. I'm getting the streams mixed up in my head. Again, Happy New Year. A statement from DeSales University. They're basically like, oops. Earlier this year, she appeared on Cocktails and Cocktails, where she discussed her work. Let's see if we can find that. I was watching the countdown earlier here. Dr. Katherine. What are we looking at there? I got lost here. Yeah, here we go. Boom. Bear with me, folks. Sorry. Here we go.
He, as a child, had been binding himself with ropes and hanging cats and imagining, for him, bondage was highly arousing.
Hey, Sean.
Yes, sir.
How you started, right?
Man, I am excited about this guest.
And why is
I'm
that?
not going to watch all of this clearly, but let's jump around. I do like that they made chapters here, though, where I can. What's going on down here in the chat? Cambry Dawn, what is next Tuesday? Next Tuesday is when they are hopefully getting this son of a bitch back to Idaho to face these murder charges. Welcome to chat. Thank you. Happy New Year also, Mickey Beavenson. No way in hell this was Bryan's first kill. He had only been living in Idaho for a few months. Seems more like he was looking for a new hunting ground and wanted to go bigger. And yeah, would he have gone even bigger than this? But I agree. I don't think that this... it couldn't have been. Man, I have so many other things. I don't think there's one guy. I don't think this is the first time. I want more. More information.
She's not a lawyer. She's not a criminal. She's more... she's definitely a criminologist and works in that world. But
so we got here, though.
She is the... I guess you would call her the academic
the
of
education.
The law.
Well, yeah, looking at her bio, without a doubt, clearly the most educated.
The decline of serial killers.
Fears that we have as a society.
And she's going to fix
but
that.
I'm beginning to see
allegedly,
that it's becoming
speculative,
less potent.
everything.
Yeah, it's getting a little...
Now, no disrespect to her, and I think she's
start
smart to
seeing
not actually probably be
jokes
talking to
and
the media right now.
Funny shows about that.
Chat, Slade L, BTK Killer, an entire family, I believe 4 members, Mr. Sentinel. Okay, yeah, perhaps Bryan thought he could pull that off.
That's showing us that society's becoming so familiar with the formula that they now feel like, okay, let's move on to something else. And
here we go, the Inquisitive Room. Welcome to chat. Glad you can make it in. Good morning from England. Good morning and Happy New Year from the United States to England. Hell yeah.
The boogeyman part of the serial killer really is fading.
Well, we had another guest
on
a couple
Lainey
months ago.
Lynn, Happy New Year. Wishing you a wonderful and successful 2023. Thank you so much from Jacksonville, Florida. Love to see it. Hey, please subscribe if you haven't. If you're just passing through, I hope that you're going to become a regular. Ray-Ban, welcome. She will most likely be a star witness. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for dropping by as well. Happy New Year, Mr. Sentinel. He was probably going for 6. 1122 equals 6. 6 people in November 13th. Whoa, we're getting into some deep stuff right there. Slade L, good morning and Happy New Year. I'm reading everybody's chat. Sorry. Mickey Beavenson, for all we know, Bryan has 10 plus bodies under his belt scattered across the Northeast. That's it, man. Where's this guy been traveling to? I can't wait to really get this stuff broken down. And I hope that they're digging into it. Great point, Slade L. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Super interesting stuff happening.
We had some discussion about serial killers,
answers.
and I asked, because I legit didn't know. I mean, I was a cop for 25 years, and I hadn't thought
Again,
about
chat,
this.
sorry to keep pausing at Kaylee. Kumalu, sorry if I butchered that. Happy New Year. I have said this the whole time. It was like the killer was taking bits and pieces from the famous serial killers. Whoa, okay, interesting. So I find it very interesting he would talk over his professor like he knew more than her. Yeah, I mean, that's being like weirdly assertive, showing some kind of dominance over, you know, an authority figure that is also a female, right? And maybe the style of killings, again, just speculative. Everything that I'm saying right now, allegedly, the style of killings that he did, obviously he had some kind of anger issues, right, with women, but potentially. Lady Lynn sub, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, seriously. And make sure to click the bell so you can, you get notified whenever I drop new content. I drop pretty regularly, all kinds of different stuff. Check out the backlog. The Inquisitive Room, while I was wrong on my suspicions, hey man, it happens, right? Raymond, who's to say that she didn't go to the cops about him? Absolutely. Slade L, it is quite likely this wasn't his first killing, and I agree there. Indy 5 Gal, new name in the chat here. Thank you for joining me. Please sub if you're just passing through. And Happy New Year. Is it possible he was groomed, charged around 16, 17-ish, turned to incel group or similar drugs, boxing, and attitude change? All of that, right? The Inquisitive Room, hit the thumbs up for you. Please, thank you for being here, man. Appreciate that. Lady Lynn Smith, hitting that bell. I appreciate the love, guys, seriously.
But
Happy New Year.
Serial killer cases, just like the ones we're talking about that are on TV, the shows, the podcast, or whatever it is, it seems like it's stuff from 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s. Or the world of quote unquote a serial killer, is it on the decline because technology is better in the way of forensics of catching people, so people are getting caught before they obtain that status as a quote unquote serial killer, with cameras everywhere, cell phone, whatever it may be. Being a specialist that's in this field, do you think as time continues on, are we going to have a decline in the number of people that are considered quote unquote serial killers?
Well, first of all, the definition changed from at least 3 murders and 3 incidents to 2, which suddenly expanded the database massively.
Joshua
so
W.
Comparing
Love
today
Day.
To
back had internet issues. Glad to have you back.
Definition changed in the FBI in the United States. Is hard to do because it's almost apples to oranges in a way. But around the world, we still see a lot of serial killers too. There's one theory that I know of that claims the golden age, the 60s, 70s, 80s, was the golden age of serial killers. And in part that's because that was the big media focus. It was fascinating. There was Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, the Zodiac, all these big time names that we're very familiar with. And the ones that we hear about now don't have that.
Bethany White, chat, welcome. Happy New Year. This is going to be something that I share with my kids, age appropriate. I see victimology here for my daughter and my son. Yeah, definitely. Anybody should be aware of stuff like this, man. That's what's scary. I saw somebody else say this on Twitter, I think, a while back. And I could be wrong about that, but I did see somebody say that Kaylee and Maddie that night, at least from what we can kind of see from all the evidence that we've seen so far, they kind of did all the right things, right? They were, like kind of a duo that night together. When they got home, I've read that they did lock the doors. That alludes to maybe that he was already inside the house. But yeah, they kind of did all the right things that you're supposed to do. And it still happened. And again, you have 2 other people, Zaina and Ethan, that this happened to as well. That's again, as we talk about this, it just keeps rolling around back in my head that there just has to be somebody else. It's so hard for me to believe that there's not another person, that there's just one person that could do this. Bethany White, stalking in modern day and inserting himself into the crime. I taught my kids body safety, stranger safety code words. Yeah, man. Yeah, all that stuff is good stuff. I myself do not have children, but yeah, protect the kids, man. Instill any kind of safety stuff like that to let them know in any kind of weird situation what could be happening. But again, you never know what's out there, man. But all that is really good traits and really good stuff. Slade L, I agree, they did the right thing. Yep, the Inquisitive Room. Do you think it's true Kaylee had an OnlyFans account? That's an interesting question. I have seen random things about that. I think I've seen it about Maddie also. And who knows, right? I mean, I haven't looked into that.
Star quality. So they're still out there. They're still being
She's
covered
talking
by
about the
media,
golden age and star quality, though. I mean,
not in the way that they were in the 70s.
Incognito Mom, new name, welcome to chat. Thank you for joining. Anybody new that's in here, man, I hate to just keep saying this, please sub. Welcome. It's 2023. Happy New Year. We're going to try to grow this thing out a little bit. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. They did all the right things. Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, and it still sadly happened. Joshua W. Loveday, I'd love to know the order the murders happened. It's horrendous, no matter the order, but I want to know his why and how. There is tongue tied here tonight. Sorry, it's getting late. Also, there's of course no justification for something this evil. Bethany White, they were 19 and 21, both, but worth the eye rolls. The inquisitive room, he could have met her that way and became obsessed with her. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, how did he meet her? I'm going back to the bar scene. I mean, that's my guess right now, that it's going to be linked back somehow, that he was like maybe stalking these girls at the bar scene there on Greek Row. I mean, he wasn't far off.
And 80s. So in part it's because we have a very different media approach to them.
But who knows?
Yes, I think there's some decline. I'm not sure I would say it's a significant
she's out here talking about the decline of serial killers.
Forensics has made a
over
difference,
the years.
especially in those predators who study how to get away with murder. They're having a harder time at it. But then look at Sam Little, who claimed 93 victims.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Your
kids are 1921.
And first of all, he was black.
Gotcha.
For there was this formula back in the 70s of there's so few black serial killers, and that's not true. It's just that there's so few mediagenic black serial killers. That's part of it. Is
how many of these, and just to her point there, how many of these guys, and I'm not talking black serial killers, I'm talking all serial killers, how many do we not hear about, right? That the media doesn't latch onto. And I'm not calling this, Bryan dude a serial killer either right now. It looks like right now he is just this one event until we get deeper and we find out that he's done more across America or that area. It's just, I don't know. Allegedly, speculation still. The inquisitive room, I hope the trial will be televised. That's what I keep saying too. I hope that they allow that in the Idaho courtrooms. I know some places don't.
But he would then be considered if all of those cases were.
How would a jury not be biased given the media coverage? That's true too. I mean, and that's the way today it is today, right? Because look at what happened along the way, right? How many of these kids along the way were targeted by the internet? Some of these sleuths out here that were going after people. And I'm not talking about making videos. I made a ton of videos, but I wasn't going after anybody directly. I was basically just reading stuff online. But some people actually, let's talk about the tarot card sleuth that went right after somebody and wasn't saying possibly this is what happened. They were pinpointing and going straight after the jugular, and that's really scary today. With doxing and things that's out there, the ability to do rather. It's just really is scary. Chat here, Incognito Mom, really cool name, like that.
Which they are
Happy New Year. Thank you. I am new here tonight. Thank you for dropping by. Been following this case on all platforms. Love the small channels. Crazy she was his teacher. This dude thinks he will be exonerated. Susie, welcome also. Is she speaking live? No, this is not live. This is a podcast. Sorry about that. This is from, I think, Law and Crime. I'm not exactly sure the date. Yeah, right here. April of this year, 2022. Oh, excuse me, of last year. But yeah, less than a year ago. Susie W. I'm sorry, just mix names up there. Joshua W. Loveday. I definitely think it will be televised. I hope so. Charlie, new name. Welcome to chat. Thank you. Happy New Year. Kaylee did not have an only counts a fan account. Okay. Confident there. Bethany White, think of all the missing people right now. Some have been missing for over 50 years. Yeah, that's some of the scary stuff. And I've been like, since I've started this crime niche on YouTube here, I've been digging into all kinds of stuff, and like, man, there's so many scary things. And I've always been a fan of crime and true crime stuff, but man, when you really start sinking your teeth into it, it is scary. There ain't no doubt about it. Lainey Lynn Smith, rarely is any serial not covered. Yeah. Truth, the Inquisitive Rune. I myself did videos, but I didn't go after anyone. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, And there's lots of cool content creators, lots of small cool content creators, man. That's what I mostly followed as well. Really good. And some of the big guys, they dox, right? They go after people. And they don't really face the consequences. I'm not into any of that at all. Incognito Mom talking to Susie there. Thomas, welcome back. Happy New Year. Holy crap, I think he walks. Okay, do you think he walks because, he's going to represent, or the lawyer, however he is represented, like he's going to, like, you don't think that they have any kind of proof? Again, I don't think that they would have arrested him without hard proof. The DNA that they're already alluding to. Come on. Susie talking to Incognito Mom. Slade L. I remember the number 35 of how many serial killers are in the USA at any given time, but this could be any number, any older number. Susie Cheers. Lainey Lynn. Oh man, from Melbourne, Australia. That's awesome. Again, Happy New Year there in Australia. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it. Lainey Lynn Smith, my opinion was killer was dissed, but now until we hear his story, we have to wait. Got who, but why? Charlie, I just subbed. Thank you, Charlie. Really appreciate it. Thank you, seriously. I drop a lot of content. If you look in some of my backlog stuff, even this week, trying to do other stuff as well. I don't just cover this case. I'm trying to dip my toes into other cases, and try to do a different spin on it if I can at all. Because there's a lot of stuff out there, and there's a lot of stuff that's already been covered. It really is. But at the same time, there's so much content in the crime field and crime world. But yeah, thank you a lot, Charlie. Really appreciate it. Bethany White, what about the border for serial killers? Would anyone know an illegal immigrant was missing? Or if found, how do we identify them? That is an actual legit question. It really is. And I think that's even happened, right? Like, Lainey Lynn Smith, I'm new too, and send good thoughts into the chat. Thank you, Lainey. Really appreciate it. Incognito Mom, thank you for subbing. Oh man, I thank you so much. Seriously, really appreciate it. Going to start 2023 strong, guys. And I'm gonna be real for a second. I at the beginning of November, I had 83 subs on this channel, and after this case broke, and I really had started true crime a little bit before the Idaho case broke. I started doing the Villisca axe murders, a little doc that I put out. And then my brother bought a haunted house. It was kind of a little bit of the creepy vibe. But when this Idaho murders case broke, that's when I really got into this and sinking my teeth into it, digging deeper. All the stories would come out, and then you really get involved in it, and you start getting emotional because you're seeing the stuff with the families unfold in live, real time, right before your eyes. We live in a crazy time, right? Like, technology is insane. But to go back to my point, I had a very small channel, and I put a lot of work into it the last month, month and a half. 2 months here. And really, again, just Charlie, I really appreciate it. Anybody that's coming through, just know that you're going to get some actual good content and work from me. Back to chat here. Bethany White, what about the border? Oh yeah, sorry, I think I read that. Incognito Mom, that's who's up. Thank you so much. The Inquisitive Room, I agree. I'm sure they will have made triple sure he's the guy. That's what I think, man. You don't make this big of an arrest on this big of a platform without that being the guy. And I would hate to think that they would be trying to nail something on somebody that come on. DNA, man. We got to see the proof, though. I just wonder if he said the arrest remark, the dupe the police. That's what I'm wondering, too. Is there more? Shelley Steert, I apologize if I'm messing that up. I'm listening from, Australia. Australia seems awesome. I'm just going to be straight up. Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Please subscribe if you're coming through, and hit the bell, everybody, man. When you see it, when you hit the bell, at least you'll maybe help me out with the algorithm rather, and see my content. Joshua, subscribe. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. The Inquisitive Room, do you think he had help? I do. I 100% do. Like, until I see some proof otherwise, or see even if his comment is not true. Come on. Lenny Lynn, oh my God, Viscala, a favorite case of mine. Yeah, please go watch that video. And I will say that's some earlier editing. I'm about daily. I get better at editing now. But yeah, please go check that out. Again, I like to cover a little bit. I plan on covering basically everything: new cases, old cases, cold cases, and closed cases here on Publicly Buzzed. And yeah, I just want to dip my toes into this, and hell, more than dip my toes into it. I've went hard into the Idaho stuff here, and just a lot of other cases in general. Aussie, hello from Sydney, man. Australia, representing here in the chat. I love it. Represent Aussie, man. Yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Happy New Year. Please subscribe. Stacy Carroll, a friend of my brother, was killed by a serial killer. Holy crap. Welcome, Stacy Carroll. I'm sorry to hear that. He killed 8 women and burned their bodies. Larry Bright. They called Bone Crusher. Wow. I'm going to look that up right now in real time. I've never heard that. But again, you know, that's not unusual, right? Whoa. Wow. Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to look into that. First of all, I apologize. I'm sorry that happened to your brother, or a friend of your brother. What is it? A friend of my brother was killed. Yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. That took me off guard there. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. Bethany White. I heard a rumor the Range Rover was bought from BK. Anyone know? Shelley Steert. Again, hopefully I'm saying that name right. You're the first to pronounce my name correctly. Oh, nice. Steert? I hope that's right. Again, I hope I didn't mess it up the second time. Again, I'm not the best with the names and some words even. Yeah, Susie talking here. Hello, everybody. Everybody, welcome. Yeah, everybody become friends. Let's do this, man. Let's rock this channel, man. You see me go live, you know you're going to get some good content. Come on. Subbed and hit the bell. Really appreciate it, Susie. Thank you so much. Yeah, the chat's really positive. Everybody's been really, really cool. Yeah, Stacy Carroll. Man, I really hate to hear that. Bethany White, Stacy, I can't imagine. Everybody's kind of talking there. Again, yeah, that took me off guard too. That's crazy. Yeah, Steert. All right, yeah, that's a cool name too. I haven't heard that last name. Yeah, let's get back into this a little bit here. That took me completely. Actually, I mean, let's look at it here. Let's look at this. I mean, yeah, it looks crazy. He looks like an absolute psychopath, right? I had not heard about this case right off. The Bone Crusher, an American serial killer responsible for the deaths of at least 8 women between the ages of 30 and 41 in central Illinois. Wow. That's crazy. Wow, yeah. I couldn't imagine, right? You don't think your brother would get over it. I really couldn't imagine that. Like, that's that's horrible. Is it too much for me to even look at this or read through this? Is that too weird? Like, do you not want me to do that? Like, I would actually totally understand that. I can go back to looking at this interview here, something that's not as connected, because that's deep. I mean, that's deep stuff. Yeah. Wow. Okay, Laney Lynn, your stepdad murdered in 1980. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's heavy, man. I mean, this, going back to just like what she's even talking about here, the decline of serial killers between the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I mean, this stuff is still happening. I'm not sure what the years was on this other one here, but I mean, just imagine how many there are now, right? And again, going back to the age we're living in, the age of technology, and what's probably what caught this current one, Bryan, probably the cameras, ultimately, is what caught him here.
We'd have the record in the United States, and he just surfaced recently. The Golden State Killer, another one who got away with it for many years. So it's hard to make those.
Bethany White, what if DNA came from the Range Rover? I'm guessing now that I'm saying that it doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. Okay, this name, Anada C. Okay, I hope I got that right. If that is, I think Anada C. That's a cool ass name. I don't know. He is an outsider as part of his whole profile and problem, and has the intelligence and desperation and just enough ego to try throwing off the police with that statement. That's true. That's what I've kind of been thinking too. Not that I don't think that there isn't another person, but him making the statement seems weird. but I'm kind of contradicting myself there actually a little bit. Lauren, a bunch of zeros, 5. Welcome. Hi guys, I caught your last stream, new subby. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Seriously. Happy New Year. Anybody new in here, man? You guys are making my night, man. Making my early 2023. Hell, I busted out this tonight because what do they say? If you do what you love in the new year, huh? Let's go. Slade L. The 70s was when was when the serial killer phenomenon really exploded. Stacy Carroll, there is a book out on Larry Bright. Yeah, I'm gonna look into Larry Bright. I really am. That's crazy. Yeah, definitely some future content.
Comparisons.
That sounds
terrible. I don't really like trend analysis as much as I like case analysis. So I personally don't pay much attention to the trends.
What's she talking about? Jack the Ripper? She get really deep into Jack the Ripper.
It's a lot of factors, and I don't know that it's necessarily going to predict the future for us on that score.
Well, earlier you said that you like to study what happened to these individuals that made them a serial killer. Is there any kind of is it they weren't hugged by their dad, or what's the underlying current there, you know?
There isn't a factor that is in common to them all. We could talk about head injuries, and I can name any number of killers who never had a head injury, or child abuse, or any of those things, neglect, deprivation. These are the common factors that we look at, but there are certainly serial killers who did not have those things happen to them. So I think that there's a lot of diversity in the serial killer population, and that to understand them, you take it case by case rather than as any kind of formula.
What is the most fascinating case, the one that's held your interest the longest? What has that one been that you can speak of?
Thank you so much, Lainey.
I'd say
seriously.
Jack the Ripper. Yeah.
Did she say Jack the Ripper? Yeah, we're getting Jack the Ripper a little bit there. What else is on here? Historical records, psychopaths. Let's jump to psychopaths. She's saying here.
Just like, this is just pure evil. This guy is just there's nothing.
I have a hard time with the word evil.
Here she goes back to the word evil, which I do understand what she's saying there, right? She's saying that essentially she's looking at it from more of a scientific point of view, which does again make sense. She is a psychologist, but it's interesting though how people look at things differently, right? Because I'm thinking this dude that killed these 4 girls in Idaho, excuse me, I didn't mean to call Ethan a girl, but the 3 girls and Ethan in Idaho, these kids in Idaho, I would call that evil. I would call this guy evil all day. What do you got saying here? Let me jump back in the chat here, the Inquisitive Room. If he's on suicide watch, they need to keep him alive. I think that they were saying that but again, keep him in that vest. If that's going to keep him alive, we definitely want to see him face this in a trial in court. Get him back to Idaho for sure. Laney Lynn Smith, bullying stinks. I know too. Sadly, adults do it too. That's true, and it's sad. Susie, I believe Bundy said the same thing. What was that? Did I miss something? Slade L. Bethany, there are several possibilities we can think of how BCK, Brian, knew Maddie or Kaylee. Yeah, that's what I always keep going back to that. Ultimately, what's the connection there? Because you got to have a connection that leads to some sort of motive. There's no way it's that random. No freaking way. I'm also thinking we cannot guess it as we couldn't. That BCK is Stacey Carroll. It's been a long while ago. Yeah, again, I'm really sorry to hear that, Stacey. Shelley Steert, he is quarantined in jail right now. Laney Lynn Smith. Let's see. Slade L. Evil is used for sociopath, etc. too, but some people really tie evil only to religion. All good, Stacey. Really sorry about that. I'm going to dig deeper into that, though. I truly am. Just interesting how she looks at the word evil, though.
Come face to face with psychopaths. Absolutely.
And again, I get it.
The coldness, the lack of remorse, definitely. So some people,
even though I guess I disagree. Evil, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's weird to look at it like that because I'm not connected to the case, besides from an outside point of view, right? But I still would say that's pure evil. But I guess she's just always thinking in the scientific, professor mindset, maybe.
Might very well be a brain disorder.
Huh.
Neuroscience is giving us a lot of information about the brains of psychopaths, and they do process things
cold in my
differently.
basement, guys.
They have very shallow emotional connections. Is it something they're born with? If so, that's a different story.
I wonder if you can test that on 23andMe.
Find that out.
Yeah. Well,
Scandinavian psychopath.
So. He's like, yes, actually, I've looked into it, boys. Let's see what's happening here in the chat. Joshua W. Love Day. The issue isn't the word evil, but the meaning of that word. I agree that evil potentially adds a religious or spiritual aspect, but what actually matters is the meaning of evil, aka violent butchering. Yeah, I understand the religious aspect of it too. Because that's the reference that you would, again, good versus evil. It goes back to the oldest story, in time, really. It's different how people think about different things, though. Because I'm not an overly religious person, it's just what it is. But I still would use the word evil. I still think that there is. I think if someone's brain, whether it's like she was just about to say there, or did say, sometimes somebody's brain isn't right for whatever reason. Maybe something's off. Maybe the chemical imbalance somewhere along the lines there. But if it does spill over into something that you can't control, or we can't control as a society, at what point do you say this is evil, right? I don't know. Shelley Steer, evil exists everywhere. Yeah. Susie, did you arrest anyone? Yeah. Laney Lynn Smith, like he's trying to imply he wasn't alone. Joshua W. Loveday, me neither. I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
There's a guy in New Mexico who's scanned the brains of thousands of inmates and also compared them to normal people, and finds, around the world they're doing this work now. The brains of what we call primary psychopaths, who seem to be born with this brain disconnect, are definitely
Honeybun, new name in the chat here. Hey, y'all. It should be interesting to see how he twists his education for this case. Yeah. Welcome to Chat, Honeybun. Please, if you're just dropping by randomly, please subscribe.
Allows them to be better predators if that's what they choose to be. Not all psychopaths are criminals. Not all psychopaths are murderers. But if they choose that, it allows them to be very effective at it, because they really don't have any remorse over what they're doing, and they really can be very calculated.
Currently, I'm just sipping a Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm not drinking tonight. Last night I was doing a little bit of Crown and Diet Dr. Pepper, but tonight I was not. I'm just doing the regular. Queen B, new name in the chat. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Happy New Year. I'm still convinced that the FBI put the Elantra out to let him know they know and watch his every move up until they got the warrant signed. I think he targeted Kaylee, in my opinion. Yeah. Does it go back to just one person is being targeted, possibly? And what even goes back to maybe what Steve Consalves was saying, or alluding to, rather, that possibly Kaylee was the person that was being targeted, and unfortunately, there was multiple, anybody's lives that was lost in this incident is absolutely a tragedy, but, other people getting in the way or getting involved for whatever reason. But he's got to know that there was going to be more people. There were 6 people at this house, right, all the time. It's a party house, and they're coming home early in the morning. I don't know. It's, again, the questions. Like, where was he at? Was he already in the house? Was he waiting? Did he slip in after? The inquisitive room. I wonder if his parents were suspicious of him. Everyone knows this case. He was in the area. He had a car. Yeah, I've went over that as well, and agree. I wonder how they're feeling now. And I know that everyone's just going to be harassing them. Just sad to a degree. But also I have questions and wonder things as well. And somebody made a good point earlier. Did they call the FBI? Right? Michigan Grandma, new name in the chat. Thank you. Please subscribe. Love seeing all the new names dropping here and chatting it up. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I can't wait to see what happens in court Tuesday. Me either. That's going to be hot, right? That's going to be interesting. Can't wait to see what happens. And we need to get him back in Idaho immediately. Laney Lynn Smith. Anyone think think he's going to talk. Yeah, I can't wait to see what he says, because right now he's saying that he's changed his tone. Apparently he was on suicide watch. We never had an official statement on that, but there was a reason for that, obviously. But now he is actually saying that, I guess, he wants to fight, or clear his name rather. So Shelley Steert with a court appearance be televised. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be televised, but you'll know it'll be all over the internet. And if I see something early, I have to work Tuesday. Again, I work a regular job, but if I'm at work and I see that, and I'll try to get that posted up on the channel for sure. Again, click the bell so you see everything that pops through the feed. Rick Starr just saw where his dad went out to Idaho and drove back to PA with him. Yeah, I just saw somebody else say that in the chat as well. So yeah, he had to get some kind of vibe, right? We all get vibes of this type of stuff. He couldn't have been just acting completely normal and then went back to school. That's what makes it creepy as hell also. I need to see, because he's an outsider, all were the targets amped by the attraction of one girl. And was that one girl Kaylee? Honey Bun, I think he will talk if he's a sociopath. He will have to. That right? Yeah. Is he going to want to take credit for this? Said that, alluded to that, and said that many times now. Yeah, Court TV. Hopefully so. Michigan Grandma, first time here. Amazing info you're getting out there. Thank you very much. Yeah, really appreciate that. I saw this earlier. I'm always looking at these. I'm looking at Twitter. I'm looking at Reddit. I'm looking at a lot of different things. And when I saw this connection here, and it wasn't me that found this, by no means. I can't take complete credit. But when I saw people kind of putting this together, that she was the teacher, of this guy, and also had written a book with the BTK Killer, like what? All the red flags just went crazy for me. Yeah, thank you very much, Michigan Grandma. I really appreciate it. Hope you stick around the channel. Susie, he will talk. He loves the attention. That's going to be interesting to see. Shelly, I think eventually he will talk like Bundy did. And yeah, Bundy just loved that attention, right? Like he kind of just rolled around in that. And he gives off Bundy vibes for sure. Joshua W. Loveday. So for a while, wondering if the driver that took Kaylee and Maddie home was potentially the killer. But obviously they cleared the unnamed driver and have not linked him. And then I saw he did an interview also. I think he was probably trying to clear his name a little bit. And it's like kind of a risk to come out, the way the internet was going after people. But he did come out, and he was also saying that nothing was weird that night. And as again, he got cleared. Indy 5 gal, welcome. Thank you. Wow. He has a lot of similarities to Bundy. Reviewing Bundy good provides some insight. Could provide some insight into Bryan's actions. Absolutely. The Inquisitive Room, I agree. Joshua W. Loveday, he will most likely talk. He is incredibly proud of his horrendous actions. Yeah. Michigan Grandma, will it be televised? Yeah, I think somebody earlier said it on Court TV. I'm not 100% sure about that. Don't quote me on that. But again, if I see something, I'm going to pop it on the channel for sure. Again, click the bell. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I do a lot of different stuff, but I'm on top of this Idaho stuff as much as I can be. Again, I work Tuesday, but if I see something pop through, I will get that up on the feed. Also, follow me on Twitter. Publicly buzzed on Twitter, publicly buzzed on Facebook, and TikTok. That stuff will all, even though I've been a little bit slow on TikTok because I've been making so much content here. But yeah, give me a follow on all the socials. Honey Bud, I get megalomaniac vibes from him. He will have to talk to prove how smart he is and how superior. Yeah, good call there, Bethany White. Bundy didn't talk until the end. Well, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, wasn't he holding out? Didn't he hold out little bits of info randomly? Like he was always trying to push out the dates. I think he got actually executed in '89. Yeah, there's, and then what if that's what ends up happening, right? What if he is a serial killer? What if there's multiple pieces out here? Again, all of this allegedly speculative. Let's get that out of the way right now. I need to see I'm sorry, getting tongue tied. 2 in the morning, folks. Lots like Bundy. I agree. Laney Lynn Smith, true on Ted. Michigan Grandma. Can you imagine if they had the radio on during the ride and his card and his dad heard? I mean, they had them about the car and stuff too. Narcissist, absolutely. Has to be a narcissist, right? Let's see here. Go down here a little bit in chat. Any gal, sorry, could not. The Inquisitive Room 107 in the house. Bethany White. If I remember, Bundy wouldn't admit guilt at all. The guy who interviewed him, got to interview him, talking to third person. Oh wait, I do remember that. You know what? You're hitting my bells right now, Bethany. Yeah. He did some kind of interview, and I think that was like a Netflix thing, right? Like he would almost admit to what he did in the third person, but never outright. Something to that. Yeah, I think you're hitting it on all cylinders, Bethany. 100%. Laney Lynn Smith, Ted executed January 24th, 89. Some, but not much, he shared. Yeah, there's something to that. And it's been a while since I've watched that, but...
Driven. So the brain is different.
Well, and just
that's a good question too, Susie. Somebody was saying that earlier. Will he represent himself? Like, will he be that, bold? Oh man, Bethany, 100%. Yeah, please stick around the chat. Shelley Steert, the Bundy tapes. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I've watched. I love that stuff, man. It's always interesting and intriguing to me. 100%. Sorry if I'm popping there a little bit. Honey Bun, yeah. Stacy Carroll, yeah, man. Thank everybody for hanging out here.
Talk about one of the ones.
Another new name. Thank you for popping up. Inevitable Honest. I believe I got that right. I don't think he is going to talk. I think he is going to play this like a chess game. In my opinion, I think he has sat someone up. That's where you are going to find the closing knife. Michigan Grandma, I see a movie being made about this case someday. Netflix is probably going to buy the rights of this somehow. They're probably already writing up the docs. But yeah, Inevitable Honest. Don't think he's going to talk there. Interesting. Because right now he's not going to be saying anything. Right now he's actually saying that I'm innocent and he wants to clear his name. So what happens when we start seeing the evidence? We start seeing the DNA. We start seeing what's actually tying him there. Right now we've just got we haven't got a lot. Bethany White, I think maybe he finally did write, but before execution. Talking about Bundy, the Inquisitive Room. This had already started when I came in. Is this lady his old ex-teacher? Yeah, this is the lady right here, Inquisitive Room, that I had the thumbnail made for. This is Katherine Ramsland. She was his teacher at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. And she also wrote a book with. She interviewed and they wrote it together, the BTK Killer, who was caught 30 years in 2004 after he had started, binding, torturing, and killing women. It's insane, right? The connection there. And again, I'm not alluding or blaming her of anything whatsoever. It's just interesting, I believe. Let's see here. I need to see narcissistic plus psychopath. All psychopaths are narcissistic, but the psychopaths want to get inside people. The stabbing because they can't see with the frontal lobes not working. God, getting deep there. Sandy L. Bundy was interviewed by James Dobson. Okay. I have to look that up. Because I remember the one thing about the Netflix stuff, and that was really interesting and good, and there was something else. Maybe it was the Night Stalker one. Once they start playing like some of the tapes, like there's a lot of BS involved with it, and I'd like to actually just hear the tapes all the way through, right? Like long form, like a podcast almost. You don't really get that, but of course I'd watch it. Brian has a high IQ and he could use this as a weapon in court. Slade-L, absolutely. Laney Lynn, great chat group, impressive. I'm impressed too. Thank you all, man. Everybody's been chill as hell. And again, please subscribe. If you're just hanging out in here, if you're watching this, 100%, really appreciate everything. Share this out there. Let people know. Publicly Buzz 2023, going to grow this crime channel out. Really, again, thank you, everyone. Happy New Year. Let me see here. Shelley Steert. So this lady will probably be a witness. Yeah, she's not talking right now. She's not talking to the media, which again is smart. Joshua W. Loveday genuinely want to know his reasoning behind his apparent innocence. How would he explain away the DNA match? That's what I'm waiting for. Yeah, because he's wanting to. Explain away your innocence. How are you going to do that, right? Yeah, that's going to be the interesting part. January 3rd is going to be interesting. Susie, which actor would you want to play this monster? Lydia Watkin, welcome. Thank you. Happy New Year. Just blows my mind. Inevitable Honesty thinks he is smarter than everyone else in the room. He thinks he can beat the system. Yeah, he does have that vibe, right? And while he may even represent himself once he gets to Idaho, I know that he has a lawyer right now in Pennsylvania. Paige Docious, new name here. Welcome to chat. Happy New Year. Thank you. Wasn't there a case of a hubby-wife forensics duo where hubby killed the wife, I want to say about 25 years ago? I don't remember that right off. Anybody in chat? Bethany White, I heard an original profiler back in the day was headed to consult the Ed Kemper on this case. Not sure if it happened. Love to hear that. how she might have talked to Ed Kemper. I mean, she's been doing this a while too, I think. And one of these even chapters here was about, I believe, some of the serial killers that she's actually talked to or interviewed or tried to get into the minds of. Lady Lynn Smith talking to Shelley there. Anita C. I had a psychopath landlady. She would throw my chair away from my window to see in. You never know how violent they will get. That's true with anybody in life, right? You always have to be weary of people, man. Stand your ground, but always be weary of a crazy just lurking. 100%. I stand behind that. Michigan Grandma, oh my goodness. Shelley Stewart, Ellie will let him control the interview. Think this is if he talks to them. Paige Doses, Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support, guys. Yeah, a lot of people in here, man. 120 people. That's crazy. Really appreciate it, guys. 2 nights in a row. Let's keep this thing rolling. Honey Bun, I cannot wait to see the probable cause. Yeah. Michigan Grandma, I bet this guy's going to have a fit since they will not feed him a vegan food. Yeah, I read about how he has a food thing, right? I'm not sure if it's kosher or what, but yeah, we were looking at that last night. His family members had said that like when he came that like they made them buy completely new pots and pans. It wasn't about washing them, made him actually buy new pots and pans. So like, yeah, he's got some kind of weird issue there. So he's probably not even eating right now, right? Might get scrawny again. Heroin scrawny. Indy 5 gal, they will need to top-notch professionals to match him in court. They should have these teachers review his papers to find his weakness. Bethany White, not her. Laney Lynn Smith, Ramsland, etc. might talk to her after the case closed. Bethany White, I think if it was someone from the Mindhunter crew, man, that was a really good TV show on Netflix also, Mindhunter. Netflix, not a sponsor. But yeah, they do some good doc stuff. That wasn't a doc, that was an actual TV show that got canceled way too soon. Mindhunter freaking ruled. I really did dig that. Charlie, does he have a girlfriend? I've seen many people ask that and haven't seen anything mentioned about that at all yet. Very good question to see how he maybe treated a female in the past. Inedible Honest, my question, do you think this was his first crime? I have that question too. Let's see here, chat. Let's see. Lost it here, the Inquisitive Room. I hope they release his interrogation tapes. Yeah, because they're talking to him already. I guess they're probably wanting to get the meat from Idaho, but Pennsylvania is already on top of this. Got to be. FBI's there too. I mean, that's federal. Lydia Watkin, give him lots of meat. Love Tina 2010. I think that's a new name. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining chat. How important do you feel his need for filing out his research questionnaire was? Yeah, the thing from Reddit. Yeah, I mean, and she was his teacher. Did that come from this class? Is that where that started? Potentially, possibly, speculating completely here. I need to see OCD plus and malnourished. Shelley Stewart. They probably will need warrants to get all his writings and papers from school. Susie, Lenny Lane Smith, they will do special diets for him. Meatless. Max Payne Media, that's a new name. Thank you. Welcome to chat. Happy New Year. Really appreciate you dropping by. He needs vegan kosher bologna and cheese sandwiches in a can. I'm fine with that, man. Just give him some potted meat, right? Michigan Grandma, Laney Smith, I did not know this, but he had a fit with his folks about the pots and pans. Yeah, I had read that last night. I think we watched something about that. Yeah, Mindhunter, awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, Mindhunter was so good. Why did they cancel that, man? I think it was something with the actors not wanting to do it, but that show was freaking fire. It was so good. Let's see. Joshua W. Loveday, what's your personal opinion on the rumors of the Scream? Yeah, we were seeing that last night. Was that from the one of those possibilities call-ins, or like was that from the Rev thing, the T-Rev thing? Possibly. But I do remember hearing something about the Scream, and maybe I know it was something that was even on one of the streams. There's been so much that we've been showing here lately, and the news has just been flying. But yeah, because they were saying like the Scream happened at 3:30 something, and then by like 3:40 something, his car was already caught on camera. Excuse me, one of the cameras. Yeah, I do remember something to that effect. I don't know what I think about the Scream. I'd have to see some kind of evidence because I haven't seen anything really truly on it besides some, innuendo and rumors. It might be real. Hell, Michigan Grandma loved Mindhunter. Yes. Let's see here. Love Tina. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for dropping by, Michigan Grandma. Bethany White, no way he's vegan. He is playing a role in public, like Bundy. Bundy was a family guy with a girlfriend, loved his mom, loved God, and it was a Republican. This is all true. Laney Lynn Smith talking to Michigan. Patty Docious, Pagadocious, excuse me. Pagadocious. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. Have you heard that he will be in quarantine in PA jail for 7 days? I guess COVID. Oh no, I hadn't heard that. The JLR channel. Okay, I hadn't seen that. Let's see here. Shelley Stewart. I can't see him ordering off the vegan menu in prison. Yeah, he's gonna have to eat whatever they give him. I think honestly. Bethany White scream was fake. Yeah, I'm not 100%. I don't have enough info at all on that. Love Tina 2010. Do you think he would have kept committing crimes if he got away with this one? I mean, and was there other ones? Was there ones before this? You know, a lot of questions there, Love Tina. I have them also. Susie, put meat on his plate until he tells everything. There we go. I'm for this form of torture if that's truly something. What if that's not? He's like, oh yeah, this sucks. Max Payne Media, his family moved to PA from Brooklyn, New York. I wonder if he would have been different if he stood in New York. NYC. Susie's scream was debunked. Okay, yeah. I had nothing really on that. I didn't even really go down that avenue. I know early in the case there was the one YouTuber that got in a lot of trouble for faking a scream. That's all I had really heard. Let's see here. Susie, yes, he is in quarantine for 7 days. Okay. So is he going to be doing the trial or he faces a judge or something on the 3rd coming up. So he's probably going to be doing that from like some kind of Zoom type situation. Bethany White, I'm guessing on my opinions of my profile, honestly. Absolutely. Everyone, personal opinions are welcome here. Lynn Smith, Shelley, talking to Shelley. Yeah, guys, I don't know. It's all insanity. That's what it is.
It kind of defies, the typical serial killer. Just as you're describing right there was the BTK killer, and you did do. You said you had conversations with him and so forth. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've known him for 11 years now. We spent 5 years working
BTK Killer for 11
his,
years.
What I call a guided autobiography. That is, he wanted to tell his story. I wanted it to be useful for criminology, psychology, and law enforcement. So I guided him toward thinking about things that we would find useful. So yeah, 5 years though.
He's probably getting off on that too. Just being able to tell the story. And she probably picks up those vibes as well.
Into detail going through. I mean, obviously, I'm sure his upbringing, but did he cover how many murders was he convicted for? 10, 12, something like that. 10. Did he go through even talking about those? Each of those murders or why he did
everything in detail. Yeah, and the one that he had anticipated committing just as he got arrested, he already had one in mind.
It's all the way up to 2004. He was still committing murders this whole time. 30 years.
But yeah, in detail.
What? Okay, so share that with us. What was his gateway? What was the final thing that made him go, okay, I'm gonna start killing people?
Well, in part, and this actually goes
Thank you,
back
Susie.
to that.
Really appreciate the love here. Let me catch up here. The Inquisitive Room. I think he could possibly have been sneaking in Una homes, watching girls sleep. Plunder did a video. Plunder's a great channel too. She gets in it, boy. Plunder did a video about her knickers found stuffed in her car vent. I saw that one actually. I did see that one, and she had called the police. I saw the body cam footage for that. And that was something was going on there, right? Could that, and I've kind of forgot about that story now, but could that lead back to this dude as well? Love Tina 2010, he was such a smart man, but gosh, lousy in cover-up. Yeah. Again, Susie, thank you so much for supporting the channel here in chat. Really appreciate that. Anybody that's just jumping in here, if anybody's new from the last time I said it, subscribe, like, hit the bell. All that helps me out. Helps the algorithm. Let's see here, Laney Smith. Info about special diets and lockup. Bethany White, all the money went to charity for the book she did. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's cool, actually. All right, props to that. Michigan Grandma, I think he'd done other things like hunting animals, etc. Just my take. Inevitable honest. I feel like I'm butchering that every time. I'm sorry. I think he had his dad fly down. I saw this earlier, yeah. And then he came back in their car while being tracked by the FBI. Joshua W. Loveday, I would think Tuesday's hearing would take precedence over a 7-day quarantine. I would also agree with that 100%. Not sure what's going on in Pennsylvania or what the restrictions are currently with COVID, but come on, what is happening here? And yeah, okay, you heard Zoom. That's what I presumed after seeing that I didn't know he was in quarantine either. So that was, learned something new here as well in chat. Thank you guys. Shelly Steer at 119 in chat and 56 likes. Leave your DNA on that like button, but like, oh my God, that was a great comment. Love it. Yeah. Hey, everybody out here right now, 119 people just chilling there. Hit the thumb. Hit the thumb. Let's get to 100 likes. Let's do it. That was awesome. That was great. Thank you, Shelly. I need to see the lead police officer, chief, or detective was happy, making me think they definitely have proof and are so happy to stop this guy. He teared up about the 4 people, who lost their young lives. Yeah, I think so too. I think we've got him. I don't think that they would be making these moves if somebody's dropping the ball right now. My God, this country's going to flip out. Everyone's on top of this right now. Again, until proven guilty, I want to see the evidence as well. But there's no way that they don't have something. You know what I'm saying? It has to be proven. I'm not throwing this guy under a bus until I see something, but they have to, right? You don't make this big of a move without having something. So the hearing can easily be done via Zoom while he's in quarantine. That's 100% true. I mean, that's just true. And hell, keep him there, right? He'd probably get off on human contact anyway. Slade L, that was scary. Her underwear and car, etc. Maybe it was Bryan. We will find out. Yeah, that one freaked me out. That one had a really creepy, and I saw other people say it, the references to like, I know what you did last summer type vibe, right? Something was going on there, man. Love Tina, something obviously was going on there. Love Tina 2010, it's nice to see you reading a lot of people's comments. I'm sure we really thank you. Oh man, yeah, I'm trying to involve everybody. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody. That's the honest truth. I really appreciate everybody jumping in here. It's helping me out 100%. Michigan Grandma, bless this professor for writing this book. I'm not against this professor at all. I want to make that clear right now. I find it very interesting that she wrote the book and was the teacher of this guy. But yeah, I'm not throwing this lady under the bus whatsoever. And I might even read this book. I was reading the comments there, and it kind of got me hyped up for it. Susie Anita C. talking to her. Bethany White, can I mention a very credible psychic who did a reading on this case here? She's on YouTube on the book. She didn't want the profit from the crime. Yeah, drop it. I don't know if you can drop that in the chat or if it'll get redacted. I know some of the links sometimes get redacted, but if you can drop it later in the comments after the stream, go for it, Bethany. I'll check it out. I don't usually look at a lot of psychic type stuff, but yeah, I'm open to checking it out. Rick Starr already hit the thumb. Thank you, appreciate that. I know you'd have hit it, Rick. Rick Starr, 100%. You've been out here. I love it. Shelly, the thumb hit is free, right? Right, there they go. I'm actually watching the thumb move in real time. I've never actually seen them through, which I've not really been paying attention, but I'm looking at it currently, and it was moving in real time, and that was awesome. Laney Lynn Smith, quarantine is related to calls and visits, not because of COVID, different kind of quarantine. Oh, okay. Well, I'm mixing this all the hell up, ain't I? That will happen from time to time. Yeah, if you guys stick around the channel, I am prone to mistakes like anybody else, but I will try to correct them in real time if possible. Now, the Inquisitive Room, I prefer smaller, new channels for info, but Plunder is on the ball with requesting info, not my preferred style, but yeah, she's on point. Yeah, man, since I've been diving into this crime stuff, she's one of my favorites, man. She gets in there. Like, she has a very interesting style to her channel, right? Like, she's not really like anybody else. Her editing is a little bit different. It has a little bit of, I don't even know how to put this, a little bit of compassion behind it somehow, right? It's the tone in her voice. I'd give 100% props to Plunder and all the work she did during this too, man. She got some really cool stuff out there. Yeah, she was trying to figure this thing out just like everybody else, and one of the good ones, because there was a lot of bad ones out there. Yeah, I agree. Susie, they have credible evidence. Yep. Stacy Carroll, there was screams on cop cam, but you could barely hear it, but could have been random. Yeah, the only thing to that is like they're right there in like a college town. Obviously, these kids are out in the middle of a field drunk. That one's hard to really nail down for me. But again, hell, and I didn't analyze it like that either. So, what do I know ultimately? Joshua talking to Susie, Shelly. Oh, I lost my chat. Oh God. Shelly, they were so tight-lipped across the case, which means they must have rock-solid evidence. Yep. Yeah, they have to. Inquisitive Room. It's a free way of helping the channel. Yeah, 100%. And hell, while Inquisitive Room is hanging out here, go like their channel as well. They're a smaller channel that's been pumping out content as well. And they had one, I don't remember the video right off. If you remember right off Inquisitive Room, mention it right here in the chat. But yeah, I actually made one video because I woke up one morning and seen their video pop through my feed. That was the most interesting thing that I had seen that day on the case. So yeah, I love the thumbs popping through. Thank you guys so much. Seriously. It's making my early 2023, like, this is so dope. Like, this is crazy. Again, I'm trying to pump out some actual decent content. If you go back and look at my older stuff, the older videos, you'll see that, guys. Like, I'm actually putting quality content out there with my editing. I'm trying to pump it out as fast as I can and with the most quality. I can't over exaggerate the word quality. I want it to actually be legit and put little skills that I do have to making some of this pop out, and get some eyes on some of these cases, some of the ones that aren't being talked about. We were mentioning that last night on the stream. There's so much stuff out there that isn't really, a lot of people aren't talking about. So I don't know. Yeah, I appreciate the hell out of it, guys. I'm rambling here a little bit. Again, 2 a.m. here on the East Coast where I'm at. So that's wild. Wherever you're at, I know there's people in the chat from Australia. Welcome, and everybody, wherever you're at. Happy New Year. Let's see here. Lydia Watkin. Do you think he had others help him stalk these girls? I don't know about that part. That's a little bit specific. Did he have others actually stalk the girls? But I think he had help murdering Ethan and the girls. Momo, new name in the chat. Here we go. Hit that thumb, man. Subscribe. Let's go. Peace. Wherever you're at. Happy New Year. Thank you, Michigan Grandma. I will just bet that the Idaho cops are not going to allow this guy to not show up with COVID crap. Probably. Who knows? Don't want to debate COVID in here, but Lydia Watkins, thumbs up. Yeah, Joshua, my mistake about quarantine. Good to know. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part as well. That's actually just what I assumed. Yeah, man, love it. All the chats going crazy. This rules. Yeah, this is cool, guys. I need to see. I did some tarot cards on this guy before the arrest and got the outsider. I'm not sure what that means. I saw him then in a vision. I knew who wasn't the guy till I saw this guy Bryan. Whoa. Yeah, Lainey Lynn, Blunder, 100%. Max Payne Media, man. I know Jack DeCour suffered massive trauma with all this media attention. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for a lot of the way a lot of these people handled stuff. Because yeah, he was the number one. He probably could not have left his house to go anywheres in whatever town he's in. Like, come on, that sucks, man. Lainey Lynn Smith, poor Jack D. Absolutely love Tina. I bet he did, Max. Absolutely, rightfully so. Inquisitive Room, you are far better than me. I'm learning as I go. No, props to you, man. I'm here for all the small channels. I'll never stop giving love to anybody that's putting in work here on YouTube. Idaho case made maybe want to start the channel. I think it did for a lot of people. I think a lot of people got emotionally involved. I know I did. I know I totally did. I know when it dropped on Friday that they had caught somebody, I was pretty hyped up. Like, I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's see what's going on here. Joshua, you have a perfect demeanor and personality for this live chat setting. Thanks for creating a space for genuine discussion. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, thank you for that. Also, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at taking any kind of praise whatsoever. I'm never going to take it well, but I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Virginia, there we go. Representing from Virginia, VA. I like it. Virginia is for lovers. I have heard that. The Inquisitive Room. Let's see. Cluminati is a new channel covering this case. I've heard of Cluminati also. I haven't really dove in, and I'm sure I've seen something. I've dove into so many channels, but yeah, Cluminati. I have heard of that one. Charlie, Jack, and Jackass and D deserve apologies. They do, man. Yeah, a lot of people went real hard on them. Lainey Lynn Smith, all good on quarantine. Lydia Watkins, Happy New Year. 5:41 p.m. where you're at. Okay, nice. The Inquisitive Room, I feel bad for him. And Jay, Joshua, we talk about the insane amount of criticisms from the public towards the Moscow police as though they didn't know what they were doing, but in fact, they were actively solving it. Yeah, they did get a lot of harsh criticism. The internet can be brutal, right? Like, what? People just need to calm down sometimes. Let's just bring it down a notch. And cooler heads usually do prevail. I know that's kind of like a cheesy thing to say, but there's some truth to that. Susie, in Melbourne, Australia out here. Yes. Yeah, I think you might have already said that, but man. Bethany White, I'm getting sleepy. I will send the link, a little teaser. She saw him in the kitchen of the house eating an apple. We were relating that to an Apple Watch on one of the girls. He's a vegan. Crazy. Yeah, good night, Bethany. Thank you again. Love you being in the chat. Yeah, you drop a lot of cool comments. Yeah, please keep with the channel, hit the bell, and watch some other stuff too, man. That stuff really helps me out. And again, hit the thumb, share it. All that stuff actually matters. But yeah, good night, happy new year. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to get off here soonish myself, guys. I know a lot of people are chilling in here right now, but it is pretty late. But hell, it is a holiday weekend for me, and it is, I think, it's still Saturday night, right? Texas representing. Hell yeah, I love me some Texas. I need to see. I have a beautiful young adult relatives out there in Idaho, so I'm definitely happy for the new beginning with Bryan captured. Absolutely. The Inquisitive Room, 7:15 a.m. here. Wow, it's early. Wow. Morning time, baby. Yeah, it's 2:17 a.m. where I'm at. I love Tina 2010. It wasn't just Jack. A lot of the kids got a bad rap. Maybe one day they will forgive us. We were bent on helping catch him. Yeah. And I mean, I made videos with that in the thumbnail as well, but I never went after anybody, and I never really said anyone's name that wasn't being talked about by the news, basically. Like, if it was in the news, I would talk about it, but I never went after any of these people, and it was always allegedly and speculative. And I definitely feel bad about a lot of these guys that got their names ran through the mud. Basically, if you poked your head out and you had the neighbor, right? You had all these guys that were close to the case. You're going to possibly become a suspect in the eyes of public opinion in the internet, and that's just weird in a lot of ways. I love Tina. It wasn't just Jack. A lot of the kids, I think I just read that, sorry. Queensland, North Queensland, Lydia, hell yeah, representing. Josh, good night, man. Thank you for dropping by. I really appreciate it, man. All the love tonight. I know it's getting early. Yeah, I'm about to get off here too. Yeah, just the chat's rolling. I love it, man. I love it. Tennessee, yes, like some Tennessee as well. Hell yeah, all over. Everybody in here, man. Welcome everybody. All right, let's do this thing. Bethany White absolutely will watch. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. I need to see just turned into 2023 here. Happy New Year. I need to see right now. Happy New Year. Momo, new sub here. I'm kind of late. Happy New Year, everyone. Momo, thank you for subbing. I really appreciate it. I'm glad I earned that sub from you. Yeah, well, hopefully we can do some big things here for the channel in 2023, man. I'd love to actually make this my actual full-time job. That'd be really cool. I'd just cover some crime, right? Like, and again, dig into other cases that maybe doesn't have a spotlight on them. And it would be really cool to be able to have time to do that. And there's so much out there. Oh, thank you so much. Seriously, chat's been on fire. Inquisitive Room, cold, wet, windy here by the sea in England. Here we go. All over the world here in chat. I love it. Happy New Year. Crazy. Kentucky. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Love it all. I'm going to play this out for just a little bit longer, guys. Again, thank you, everybody that's come in. Thanks for all the thumbs. Thanks for the shares. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to let this play out for just a little bit longer here, but I am probably going to be closing off. Yeah, 2023, let's do this. Yeah, keep the videos. I'll keep the videos rolling. You guys keep the thumbs popping. How about that? Drop the comments in the basement. How about that? Let's do this thing. Yeah, and hopefully on January 3rd we figure out what the hell's going on and get this son of a bitch back to Idaho and get some real answers, get some real info going. But yeah, I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, and yeah, I'm probably just gonna click off after she gets done talking about. Let's see here, the gateway. How about that? Thanks, guys. Seriously.
Theory of the golden age of serial killers, the sexually compelled serial killers that we spend a lot of media energy on. A lot of them have talked about those true detective magazines in the 1950s and 60s.
Thank you so much, Anita. Thank you, seriously.
Clad, bound, terrified,
crazy, humbling, like
that they fixated on.
I did not
He's
expect
one
this.
of those. When he was 14, he found a magazine under the the driver's seat of his dad's car, and as he's developing into a sexual person, he's devouring these magazines. He already had been binding himself, and it was feeling good to him. So bondage, that image of a terrified woman.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy this book, right?
His desire to dominate women because women had humiliated him, and his desire to be famous. And he saw that on these magazines. Going
right back into it. I know I'm supposed to be getting off here, but that to that point, and I've seen it mentioned many times in my chat here. You know, and did he have a girlfriend? And that's not just to say a girlfriend. Did he have a boyfriend? I'm not just throwing that out there either. But did he have another significant other ever in his life that maybe did him wrong? Or maybe he felt, you know, at one point they were talking about how he was chubby, and then after that summer he, you know, lost a lot of weight, but then he had a heroin issue. You know, you can't really have a relationship with somebody if you have a drug addiction or a drug problem. There's questions there, and she just kind of alluded to that there. But yeah, if she and going back to if he is possibly straight and he has these angers towards women, and you know, Ethan maybe just have been sadly there, wrong place, wrong time, possibly. And then if there was just an actual target, Kaylee, Maddie, whoever, you know, just all speculative at this point. But I mean, that does kind of make sense.
Stories
Tana B, new name. PA, what's up? It's scary knowing Brian drove the whole way here. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining chat.
Ted Bundy and some of the
please subscribe. Another new name here.
That too.
Anna Sue.
His fantasy life is what propelled him.
I'm gonna have to get this book. Absolutely.
About these things and imagining himself as one of those elite serial killers.
That Amazon
so when he
reviews
saw
got me.
A woman and her daughter walking, and he followed them home, and he looked at the house, and he already had envisioned himself in this kind
That's
of
true, honey bun. That's true. As quick as shit came out,
so
instantly we knew about the sister, other stuff.
And right before then, he had actually tried. He had already been breaking into houses, and he had tried to abduct somebody in a parking lot. That had failed. But this time he went into the house,
right?
And he took total command of the family. He killed 4 people in his first time out.
Jeez. So this just came from quixotic thinking, right? He just romanticized it.
Yeah. Will they ever actually find the weapon? Inquisitive Room. That's a good call.
Yeah. There's such a
Salon H, new name from Nashville. Happy New Year! Thanks for joining the chat. I hope you subscribe. Thank you for joining. Seriously, click the bell.
And imagining. You know,
really appreciate you dropping by. Whatever time it is there, it's 2:30 in the morning here almost.
Imagine trapping girls, tying them to railroad tracks. All of that was part of his fantasy life. And as he came into being a man, and at this point,
I can't leave either.
He was also married. Then during his spate of murders, he had 2 children. He was the president of his church congregation. He was,
and we're into a new thing here. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause her up. I'm gonna have to. If you guys have watched my other streams, you've learned probably by now that I'm terrible at stopping. I'm terrible at closing off. I just keep going. As long as you guys are chatting, it's hard to stop. But again, I appreciate the hell out of that. It's the coolest thing. 1:24 here. You're 1 hour behind me. I hope I'm saying Salon H right. Giant SO, but yeah. It looked like you have a fucking awesome dog. Excuse my language there in your picture. It's like a husky of some sort. But yeah, thanks guys. Seriously, I really appreciate all the love. Humbling, so humbling. What's happening? Like, let's keep going though. January 3rd, we're gonna figure something out. I'll probably jump on tomorrow. Who knows? Probably have to do some real life stuff. But yeah, we'll figure some stuff out. Looks like the late night ones do pretty well actually. People, I know I like to watch stuff like this late at night also. Maybe in the future I can actually get like a time frame down or a schedule. This is yesterday was my first time going live with actual face. I usually just make the videos with the voiceovers, which I'm not going to stop doing that. I like that style. And then also I do the mini docs. I said last night I'm doing a mini doc currently. It's about 10 minutes long ish on the baseline killer Mark Godot from 0506. He was committing killings with a firearm. But yeah, go back and check out some other stuff. And again, I'm not going to stop covering this Idaho stuff. Yeah, that's the BTK Killer book, Momo. Yeah, I'm going to have to get that and check that out. Oh, bye, Lydia. Thank you. Really appreciate that love from Australia. Really appreciate it. Hubby just rose for work. I'll look for your notifications. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks. Hope he has a good day at work. Happy New Year, hubby. Laney Lynn Smith, Mr. Smith. Absolutely. All right, guys, I'm going to get off here. Seriously. Love it. Let's keep it going. You guys see me pop on. Jump on and say hi, even if you don't have time. All right? Let's keep her rolling. Brian Laundrie was a vegan also. What do we got going on here? We're going to put this together right now. Yeah, thanks, guys. Seriously. All right, I'm gonna stop her off here. I'm gonna actually jump back to the. You guys want to keep chatting a little bit here? What I'm gonna do is, I got a little bit of something I do have to do on the computer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually put this over to the screen that opened, the waiting screen. I think I can probably delete the screens. It says stream starting soon, but yeah, if you guys want to chat here for just a little bit longer, yeah, thanks again. Seriously, everybody, really appreciate it.